Welcome back. National Security Minister Herman Gill Francis is giving his assurance that St. Lucians need not worry about the characters coming over to the country from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He says all respective authorities are closely monitoring the rescue process. Francis's assurance comes after an SVG prisoner escaped from police custody. The minister was asked how are St. Lucians to be certain that individuals coming to the island to escape the volcano crisis in the sister isle are of good character. Francis also says the acceptance of SVG prisoners should not be a cause for concern, as this too is being handled with care.
Over the weekend, it was announced that police in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are on the hunt for an escaped prisoner identified as Owen Small of Camden Park, who was in custody serving a 2-year sentence for burglary and damage to property. An appeal was made for members of the Vincentian public to assist with information leading to Small's recapture. However, they were also warned that the fugitive should be approached with caution. This news raised the question surrounding the safety of St. Lucians, as the island is currently lending a hand to volcano-ravaged SVG, accepting a number of nationals from the sister isle, whose lives have been adversely affected by the eruptions of La Soufriere. National Security Minister Herman Gill Francis responded to these concerns, stating that whilst he is not privy of a vetting system, there are ways in which the authorities are updated on anyone entering the country.
I think that the coordination between NEMO and the persons from St. Vincent would give us a list of individuals that are coming through. Caribbean we have persons of interest on lists in each and every island. And so if these persons are going to be coming in legally, then I think that the information will be given to our police and our border people. But the scenario that you're mentioning, I don't think that individual would want to come through the legal way. He would find other ways and means of coming through. And St. Vincent would inform us. We would have the photograph, we would have the information. And so I've always encouraged police officers now that sometimes when we're looking for somebody of interest, that we should at least advertise that individual by putting the photos up for everybody to recognize, especially somebody who is not a St. Lucian and been in our country and can cause untold damage. We need to know who that person is so that any sighting of that individual, then the police can move in rapidly.
Francis also indicated that the offer to house inmates at the Bordelais Correctional Facility should not cause any doubts or unrest, as this has been done in the past without any kinks or failures.
We have to be our brother's keeper. We have done it before. We have criticized vehemently the last time when we took the prisoners from the BVI. Person said that we are putting our country in danger and the criminals will do this and will do that. But we are sure, and the Prime Minister gave the assurance based on what we knew of the capacity and capabilities of the individuals who work at Bordelais. And Mr. What's his name, the previous director there, Mr. Gad. I knew about his potential. I knew for a fact that if we had given Mr. Gad and his men and women, they would have done a good job. So having spoken to them and they said, give us the encouragement that yes, they would be able to do it, we brought in those prisoners. And you notice what had happened. BVI is very thankful. There was no incident, there was nothing at all. And we did well. As a matter of fact, we did so well that we lost our director.
Francis said he believes the director of the BCF, Hilary Herman, is just as capable as his predecessor. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Police recently indicated that 2 individuals were arrested for sexual involvement with a minor. Activists have called for the identity of the perpetrators of such offences to be published. Calls have also been made for a sex offenders registry in St. Lucia. The Minister for Justice says he does support the creation of a registry. However, the issue is very complex.
On Tuesday 26, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force informed the public that an investigation had been launched into allegations of a sexual offence involving a minor, which had led to the detaining of 2 male individuals and the charging of one and the possible charging of the other in short order. Following this, many calls were made to have the identity of the perpetrators revealed to the public. The RSLPF has explained that the law makes provision for limited information to be provided to the public to ensure the protection of the identity of the victim as well as the the suspect. On Wednesday, Minister for Justice Hermangild Francis says until such time where there can be assurances that there will be no victim shaming in matters such as this, he is of the belief that St. Lucia is not yet ready for such a move.
Sometimes St. Lucians are very unforgiving, even when you're not at fault. So by putting the photographs of the defendant or the person accused of would also automatically sometimes give you an idea who the victim is. And by doing that, you're going to victimize that victim even further. Because every time that person sees that particular person on the television, you would know is that individual who was raped or sodomized or whatever. And so that discussion has to take place, and it has to be a very deep discussion. St. Lucia is only 180,000 people, 248 square miles. Everybody know everybody. And so that you will not be able to move. You might say, well, okay, it happened to me in Anseray. Can I move now to Vieux Fort? It might not be that easy.
On the other hand, Francis says the creation of a sex offenders registry could be a useful tool.
I do not think that we have reached the stage of the sophistication that we want and the sort of ability of our people to forgive and to respect persons. Until then, I don't think that we should do it.
Francis maintains that sexual offences are one of the most difficult cases to try, given its sensitivity and the elements that have to be proven beyond reasonable doubt. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzaga.
Castries Central MP Sarah Flood-Bobra is using her remaining time in office to focus on her campaign for the next general elections rather than focus on who the opposition St. Lucia Labour Party is going to choose to go up against her, as well as why they are taking so long to name a candidate. She says she has no say as to who will go up against her, so she is wasting no time worrying about the unknown.
While the St. Lucia Labour Party is yet to endorse a candidate to run for the Castries Central seat, current MP Sarah Flood-Bobra is not taking her eye off the prize and is determined to regain her seat. Flood-Bobra has represented the people of Castries Central on a UWP ticket since 2016 and says that she's leaving nothing to fate.
My responsibility and my focus is on getting myself ready for these elections. I don't expect it will be a walkover. I don't expect that it won't be challenging. I'm not responsible for choosing my opponent. My duty and obligation is to be ready for whoever comes.
Traditionally, the seat has been contested by multiple representatives, including Stanley Felix and Richard Frederick.
I'm getting readier and readier every day, and I'm working very hard. We've done a lot of work in Castries Central, focusing a lot on creating employment opportunities, training, focusing on the poor and the vulnerable, focusing on housing. By the way, that's going to be my focus for the next term of office, housing. We live in challenging times. People are suffering. COVID has caused suffering all over the world, and so our constituents need to be reassured more and more that, and certainly in my case, that I am there to give them the best of me.
Elections are constitutionally due in 2021. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.